KHOU 11 News has a dedicated group of researchers and fact checkers to verify claims that you happen to see on social media. Tonight, a question about spending on a border wall. Selma wrote us asking, I saw something on Facebook that said President George W. Bush received $50 billion to build the wall. Is this true? And if so, where did the money go? Our sources for this verify are reports from the Government Accountability Office and Customs and Border Protection. First, it is important to note, it wasn't a wall, it was a fence, and the money is outlined in the Secure Fence Act of 2006. It authorized funding for the construction of roughly 700 miles of fence and barriers along the southern border. Congress set aside $1.4 billion for the fence, but estimates at the time, along with maintenance, set it at $50 billion over 25 years. That's probably where you saw that number, Selma. A newer government report says $2.3 billion have actually been spent on border fencing since 2006, and maintaining that fencing is projected to cost more than $1 billion over 20 years, not $50 billion. So the answer to your question is no. President Bush was not given $50 billion for a border wall. Even the estimates to maintain the fence are not that high. Is there something you want us to verify? Email us. The address verify@khou.com.